Hey y'all, welcome back to FlyafterFifty. I'm your Fly Dog D and I'm back with another video. In this video, I'm bringing you some neutrals. These are neutral eyeshadows so you can see pretty much what your options are when it comes to indie brands. That's right, this is all indie brands. I'm going to bring mainstream brands at a different date, but this one are indie brands where you can only get them either on their site or maybe one or two other places where they got arrangements to sell their palettes. So these are all indie brands. They're all neutral. So I decided to have a little fun with y'all because I'm wondering how many of these brands have you heard of? So if you've heard 20 or more of these eyeshadow brands, comment this in the comment section. If you've heard of 10 or more, comment this. And if you've heard of 9 or less of these eyeshadow palette companies, comment this in the comment. I thought we'd have a little fun. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Now these eyeshadow palettes are not in any particular order. I tried to keep them by brand, but they might have still got messed up or mixed up. So these are just eyeshadow palettes that I'm showing you. Because some of them I use, some of them I haven't used in a while, and some of them I haven't used yet. So let's go ahead and get started. This first palette is from Vive Cosmetics, and this is their Essential palette. And this palette is just a bunch of neutrals. It's just a plain, not plain, it's just your basic neutral palette. It has something dark, it has something light, and it has a multitude of colors to use in your crease or your transition area and different tones of gold. This is a beautiful neutral palette. Now, this palette is from Lava. It's a Los Angeles brand. And forgive me, I don't know if all these companies are still in business, but of course they were when I bought these palettes. This is their Sunset palette. And they don't have a dark matte in here, but they do have the different color golds and nice colors for your transition area. This color here is dark, but it is more of a satin like shade, so you may be able to use that to darken up your outer V, but there's no matte for that. Okay, the next palette we have here is from Kaleidos. This is something Kaleidos. They released this last year. They released 2 neutral leading palettes, and this one is Cold Brew. It has 3 mattes, one that you may be able to darken up, and 1 shimmer. All right, this next palette is from Clarity Cosmetics. It's their Melanin Chronicles palette. And as you can see, it has a dark matte to lighten, to darken up your outer V, some good transition or crease colors, and shimmers with that pop of blue. This eyeshadow palette is from Vanity Makeup. It is their signature palette. It is a beautiful neutral palette, light to dark mattes, light to dark shimmers, perfectly aligned in here. Just a beautiful palette if you want to pay this much. Okay, this next palette, this palette is from Melt Cosmetics. It's the brunette palette. This is kind of skirting the line about where they're available, because this one is now available. This brand is now available on Sephora, but I just decided to keep it in the rankings here. Well, not rankings, but so this is a beautiful neutral eyeshadow. The only issue I have with this is that it did not have a color that was dark enough for my outer V. So I bought the 420 palette on, I think I got it off of Macao, and I put this darkest one in here. So now it is a perfect nude palette from light to dark for mattes, light to dark for shimmers. The Rust palette, also from Melt Cosmetics, is another beautiful neutral eyeshadow palette, light to dark in mattes, light to dark in shimmers. I have heard many people complaining about the formula for milk, but it does not. I like it, and for mattes and for shimmers. This one is very new to my collection. Actually, I just bought it. I just came, and it's the Miss Nude York palette from the Balm. Doesn't this lady look? She looks black to me on here, so that's why I bought it. She looks black. She looks like one of the, you know, Alyssa or Arnell. This looks like this could be their sister. But anyway, this is a nude or neutral palette. This dog is just sitting here going in circles. Lay down, Marley. Lay down. And this is it. I forgot. It's a simple palette. You can tell that the shimmers aren't, you know, going to blow your socks off. But it does go from light to dark for mattes and light to medium for the shimmers. This is from the brand Playing in Makeup by Yolanda. This is the Earthly Desires palette. Has a sleeve. And this is how the palette looks. Light to dark again for the mattes. Light to dark for the shimmers. And has this beautiful pop of purple. See, is this dual chrome? Yeah, look at that. Dual chrome one there. Just pretty. I like these colors for my shimmer, for my crease, and for my transition area. And it's just beautiful. Great palette. Okay, I also have two more here. Can I get both of these in here? These are both by Playing in Makeup by Yolanda. Her 5 pans. This one is Capture. This one is Exchange. Exchange and Capture. They're both nice 5 pans that you can get a complete look out of. Or mix and match. Very pretty. This palette, this neutral palette is from Glamlight. This is their chocolate martini palette. They released a few of these in a set, or you can get them individually. I decided I really just wanted this one. It's a nice neutral. We've got light to dark or medium to dark for mattes, and the same for shimmers. Beautiful, beautiful palette. All right, this next palette I shouldn't have bought, because I always say I just want a regular palette. I don't need to have look like food. So I bought this chocolate donut palette because it was on sale, and I've had it a while and have not used it yet. So, but if you look inside of it, look at these neutrals. It just doesn't have something that goes really light for mattes, but these are beautiful tones and beautiful colors for the mattes and shimmers that they did select. It just looks like a donut. All right, this next one is from Gloss Gauze. It's the new Neutrals palette. Has a sleeve, and inside goes from light to dark in the mattes. But all the shimmers look pretty dark, but that's cool with me. But a lot of people, some people would prefer having something light to dark that they can use as options for shimmers or have an inner corner highlight. But thanks to Angelica Nyquist, I now use mattes in my inner corner as well, so more options. But this is a beautiful palette. I think this is, yes, it is a Swedish brand. This brand is the Glam Shop, and it is a Polish brand, and this is their nude eyeshadow palette. It is all shimmers going from light to dark. So get yourself a nice companion palette and you're good to go, or you could use these as one and done. All right, this is from the Cosette Beauty. This is one of their mini palettes. They always use this kind of packaging that says mini palette, but I forgot what the name of this palette is. But as you can tell, it's a nice neutral palette with 5 mattes and 3 shimmers. This palette is from Blend Bunny Cosmetics, and it's the All Done Up palette. This is one of their smaller palettes that they created, and you see the nice neutrals there and the 5 shimmers at the bottom. This is pretty much how they always line up their palettes, like, so every row is a look. Every row is a look, or you can mix and match, but it goes from light to dark for the mattes and light to medium for the shimmers. Let's show you this, because I already showed you one Kaleidos, but I have one in a different container. This is from Kaleidos. This is their Futurism 7 palette, Sashimi City. They have a group of Futurism palettes, which they are discontinuing now, but you may be still able to get your hands on some. But this is a nice neutral one. Cover this. Hopefully you can see it. Cover this light. And this is another one I got from Clarity Cosmetics. I'm pretty sure they discontinued this one. This is Mauve Wedding. So you can go silver or gold with the mattes in the middle. Very nice. The next 2 palettes are from Linda Hallberg. And this first one is her Infinity Deep palette. So this is a neutral palette, and it can be used on the eyes and the face. The next palette from Linda Hallberg is the new Golden 20s. And this is what this one looks like. But yeah, I would have to draw in something to deepen this out, but I still thought this was a pretty palette, and that's why I got it. Now we have a couple of palettes from Doll 10. This is their Glam Goddess eyeshadow palette. All right, this is the eye and face palette. I originally went to this site to get a different palette, but it was out of stock, so I decided to try this one. As you can see, this is not really made for dark skin, but I can use some of the colors, but it's not really made for us. The palette that I was originally wanting to get by Doll 10 is the Doll Squad, which I don't think it came back in the stock, but they got the Doll Squad 2.0. And I got this one because I didn't get the one for Makeup by Mario. I don't remember the name of that palette, but it's the one people are comparing to. It's the one people are comparing to the new Natasha Denona palette. But yeah, so I got this palette too as a substitute, and I like this one because I can deepen it up, and the shades are not ashy. So this is good. So if you wanted to get from Doll 10, I'd get this one and not that Glam Goddess. Next up, I have 2 palettes from, I think it's an Israeli. I think it's an Israeli company. I'll put it in here, but because I can't remember. It's called G'day, and I got 2 of their palettes. This one is Flare. Nice neutral palette that goes from light to dark in both the shimmers and the mattes. The second one I got from them is called Selfie 3, and it does the same thing. Let me show you them close together, because they kind of look similar. This is them side by side. Slight differences. I don't think there is no difference. That goes with that. Okay, they don't have this color. Okay, they're a little bit different. But I would say if you want to try this brand, you only need one of these. All right, the next brand we're going to be talking about is Sydney Grace. I have a few palettes, neutral palettes from them. This one is Summer Days. Nice neutral palette. This one is called Mountain Trail. Neutral with some nice greens in there. This one is called Be Mine. This is their Be Mine palette. This was released, I think it was, if not last year, a year before for Valentine's Day. All right, moving on. This is from Give Me Glow. This is their Sweet and Sticky palette. Just a nice neutral with a light gold and a medium gold color. This one here I got from Lisa Eldridge. This is the Cinnabar palette. Almost like a cream to matte type consistency there. All right, these next two palettes are from Glamour-Natrix. The first one is the Sugar and Spice palette. And this is what that one looks like. This is their palette, but I replaced two of the cool tone mattes that were here for some warm tone. And that's how the palette works for me. These pan size are the same as ColourPop, so that's why I was able to do that, because this is the first one I believe that they've made with this pan size. Also from Glamour-Natrix, I have the Nearly Natural palette. Beautiful, beautiful, a beautiful, beautiful neutral eyeshadow palette. We are almost done, y'all. This next one is from the brand Unearthly Cosmetics. This is their Leather and Lace palette. This is one of my favorite palettes from that brand. It's a nice neutral palette, and they say about it, it's a neutral palette for color lovers, and it's a color palette for neutral lovers. You don't have to go too far outside the box when using this. The next three palettes and the last three palettes are from Luna Beauty. This first one is a collab that Luna Beauty did with Loreal, and it's called the Full Fantasy. A beautiful palette that is similar to the Nearly Natural. So if you have that, you don't necessarily need to get this. And if you get this, you don't necessarily have to get that. One big bonus for this one is, you know, the shipping costs are more reasonable, because the Nearly Natural one is coming from Australia, so a heftier shipping price. All right, this next one is also from Luna Beauty. I really love Luna Beauty's formula, by the way. So this is also from Luna Beauty. This is Eternal Eclipse, and that's what this one looks like. The word on the street is this is the nighttime palette for the next one I'm going to show you. So this is the night. The daytime palette for Luna Beauty is the Nude Prism. This is a beautiful palette. I love this palette, and I'm so glad I discovered it. It has the darker tones from light to dark. They have the mid tones from light to dark, and then the shimmers from light to dark. What else you need? What else you need? This is indeed a beautiful, beautiful palette. All right, now I just have one more I have to show you, because I just used this one today. So I have to show you this one. I just used this today, and it blew my socks away. Or is it socks off? Blew my socks off. And it's by Dominique Cosmetics. It's the Essential palette. Beautiful. And the formula, I love it. It's kind of dry. It feels dry, but it performs so well. I'm so happy I have this. It's giving my Luna Beauty brand a run for the money, but I really like this. So y'all, that is it for all my neutral eyeshadows from indie brands. Make sure you comment down below which category you fit, as far as if you knew about these brands. But yeah, I love these. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll have a mainstream brand one coming soon. Thank you so much, and I will see you in another video.